Hi, everyone. This is Jacqueline from She Writes Studios, and welcome to Author Celebration. And today we celebrate a powerful and timely message for Christian women in business when Business Becomes Heavy by Andrea Russell. This book is already making major impact, becoming an Amazon bestseller in 8 categories, including bestseller in Kindle Store, top 3 in new releases in women's inspirational spirituality, top 6 in new releases in women in business and other categories. So clearly, this message is resonating. Through her SOAR framework, surrender, overcome, align, rise, Andrea invites women to trade pressure for purpose and burnout for obedience. So please join me in celebrating Andrea Russell. Hi, Andrea. Welcome to the show.
Jacqueline, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations to becoming bestseller, 8 different categories. That's awesome.
Yes, I've been, when I heard that, when I got that on the day of the release, the tears just flowed down my eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing.
That's wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and dive into a little bit more about the book. The title alone resonates very deeply. What does business feeling heavy look like in real life?
I think in real life, and to use my own story, there was a time when I had been doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I had hired more than one coach.
Mm,
I was starting my coaching firm, and it seemed like no matter what I was doing, things, it just wasn't working. Nothing was working. But I was doing everything I was told to do. Make sure your offer is good. Make sure you're talking to your ideal clients.
hmm
But at the same time, in the forefront, you look at me and you're like, oh, she's drinking joy juice. She's always smiling. She's happy. But in the background, everything felt heavy. It felt like
hmm
it was not going the way that it should. And I remember not, I was trying to figure out what to call this book, and I had a different name. I can't think of it now, but I had another name for this book. But the
hmm
day when I was like, Lord, you need to show me some direction because I'm doing everything. And all of a sudden, when business became heavy, that was the name. At that moment, I was like, I got it. That's the name. So it's when you're doing everything, you know you're doing everything that you should be doing, but at the same time, it's heavy because you feel like only you know what you're doing. Everybody watch you, they see you happy. Your family is like, oh, she's at it again, right? Is this one gonna work? I mean, you might as well get a job or something because this is not
Yeah.
working, right? And so I think it's at that moment when you decide and you realize this is really heavy. How am I gonna? What do I need to do to overcome this heaviness?
That's very interesting because a lot of women would think, or no, not just women, but a lot of business people would think, I am strategizing from the beginning, but
Mm-hmm,
it feels like I'm not going anywhere,
mm-hmm,
right? And
mm-hmm.
and that's when it becomes really heavy. And you
Right.
say that the biggest issue isn't really strategy, but exhaustion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk us through that?
I think that exhaustion is you're doing everything because you already have the strategies. I mean, you
Hmm
have the Google documents, you're doing all the research, and these days you have ChatGPT too. So it's like you have access to all of the information, but you're still exhausted because number one, it is so much information. And
hmm
you're trying to top that off. Let's talk about exhaustion when it comes to watching everybody else. You watch them on social media, and this one is making millions. The next one is, oh, I just made $1 million
Yes.
today. Oh, I'm making 100,000 every second. It's like, okay. So if they're doing so well, what's wrong with me, Lord? I'm doing everything. Why are they making it and I'm not making it? And so just watching them alone is exhausting, to say the least, right? And so I think we all have that, um, we all come to that point when we're watching everybody else, and that's exhausting to us because what am I not doing? I'm tired. I'm literally tired. I need to stop because I'm tired.
That's true. We get tired not just for handling the business, but from managing people's expectation
Yeah.
and the pressure from the society that
Yep.
puts on us. Now, what
Mhm.
moved you to speak directly to women quietly wondering if they misheard God?
I think that one actually was born out of I had a client, a coaching client, that she was building her business.
Hmm.
And when we got together, she didn't want to, as Christians, I'm going to use them, but as Christians, again, I'll go back to that old we should not make money story again, right?
Yes, yes.
When I told her how much I thought she should be making based on her
Hmm.
experience and how well she does what she does, her thing was, I don't know if I heard the Lord because this business is just a burden to me. And I've been in this business for, I think it was like well over 7 years or something like that.
Hmm.
That she had been in the business, but she was just overwhelmed with the business, the systems, right? If God has, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, why am I feeling all this pressure and why is my bank account still empty? It's like
Hmm.
I'm doing all of this, but my bank account is empty and I have to make payroll. So it's like, don't know whether did I hear him or didn't I hear him, right? And so I've had those moments. Did I hear you right too? Right. And so that's what I think. It's when things really is overwhelming, then you begin to second guess whether you heard him correctly. And I think we all do at some point.
That's great. Now, you created a wonderful framework of women go through this burnout and make it into their next phase. Can you walk us through your SOAR framework?
Yes, the SOAR framework, this was born out of my own burden of heaviness. I realized that God has given all of us a skill. Some of
Mm,
us, He's given lots of skill, more than one, right? I'm one of those people, He's given more than one. But it's like when you're trying to build a business, and ultimately we try to do everything on our own. And I think the
mhm.
reason we do that is because we're saying, you know what, Lord, I think you're taking a little bit too long. I need this done like right now. But it's been, Lord, about a year now, right? It took me 2 years. I've gone through certification and everything before I began coaching. I had the certification, I did the training, but I could not move. I was just not moving. And one day I said, you know what I need to do? I need to surrender this to the Lord. I
Mhm.
began to seek Him and surrender my business to Him as to whether or not this was the direction that He wanted for me. And the more I surrendered to Him and just step back a little bit, the more the opportunities came, the more He opened the doors. I kid you not, I got a coaching client just through surrender, and I had not even completed the program. The person paid me cash up front, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's paid me, and I don't even have the program yet. But that is how God works, right? We're looking from the perspective of the human eyes and what we think it should be. He's looking from a whole different, we can't even fathom the way he sees it. And so that's when I said, you know what? Surrender. And that verse about soaring like an eagle, all of that came to me. So surrender everything. Then I was able to overcome all the other challenges, right? I had it in the reverse. I was trying to overcome the challenges before I surrendered it to Him.
Mm.
So in order for it to work, I had to first surrender it to Him so that He can assist me and help me to overcome the challenges. As I overcome those challenges, everything began to fall in alignment. Every single thing. And it's at that point but I was able to rise above. And that's why I so love the SOAR acronym, because it's when you think about surrendering, overcoming based on the Lord's help, and everything is aligning, and then you're able to rise. Oh boy, to God be the glory.
That is true. And I 100% agree because our vision is very limited.
Yeah,
And oftentimes we are too impatient
yes.
to wait on the Lord
Mm-hmm.
when He's telling us, wait, I'll
Mm-hmm.
handle that, give it all to me.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
everything else will just fall into place. I love that. I love your SOAR framework. That's
Yeah, thank
wonderful. Now, who do you think, who is this book especially for right now?
I think, I've been talking about Christian women entrepreneurs, but
Hmm.
I would say to any woman who's in business, even man, because they go through the same thing, but
Yes.
any woman in business, this has something for everybody. These, the strategy in this book, the surrendering to the Lord, it works for everybody. But here's the thing, one of the most important ways for this to work is you have to begin with firstly believing what you're reading. Because if you're
Mhm.
not believing what he's saying and what I'm saying in the book, there's scripture throughout this whole book. And so if you don't believe what you're reading, it is not going to work. For the mere fact that in the book of James, he says to us, if we're going to ask him, we have to come believing. If we're coming doubting, don't expect anything, right? And so when we go through this book, whether you are a Christian entrepreneur or you're not a Christian entrepreneur, the rules still apply. The principles still apply. Why? Because he says he reigns on the just and the unjust, the same.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what do you hope the women and men would feel after reading When Business Becomes Heavy?
I am hoping that after you've read this book, that your weight has been lifted, that you could walk through this like an eagle flying in the sky. That you can have his peace as you walk through this. And
Mhm.
as you walk through this, he opened the doors of opportunities. He even opens your mind to understanding more of what it is that you need to know from his perspective. So I'm hoping that this book teaches you to surrender to him so that you can
Mhm.
overcome. Align everything with what it is that you want, because he said he'll give you the desires of your heart so that you can rise above. So I'm excited for everybody who reads this, and I can't wait to hear the stories. I really can't.
And so for listeners are out there that gets inspired and wants to reach out and connect with you, how can they connect with you?
Well, one of the ways is I have an Instagram account at Christian Women Entrepreneur. That's my Instagram account. I'm also on LinkedIn. If you want to go to LinkedIn and just put my name, Andrea Russell, I'm going to pop up somewhere. And finally, on my website, Journey to Business Success is my website. I would like to mention, because this book is a paperback and I am so excited, I actually have a bonus for anybody that purchases this book. There is
Hmm.
a bonus that's giving you what's called the SOAR implementation kit. It is valued at $182. And just for purchasing the paperback, you get the SOAR implementation kit. The next 48 hours, though, you get it for free. But after that, it's paid. So
Hmm.
grab your copy of the book and get your SOAR implementation kit.
Wonderful. And a final question for you. If a weary woman entrepreneur is listening to today, what would you lovingly say to her?
I would lovingly say you are not alone. You may feel like you're alone, but you are definitely not alone. And how do I know? Because I'm here and I'm not alone. And you're reading my book, so you are not alone.
That's true, 100%. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for giving women permission to stop striving and start soaring. When business becomes heavy, reminds us that we were never built to break. We were built to build, but
Yes.
not alone, as you said, and never at the expense of our soul. So this book is not just about quitting, it's about surrender as a
Yes.
strategy. It's about aligning with God's pace, God's assignments, and God's grace. So for women listening to us out there, grab your copy of When Business Becomes Heavy, now available on Amazon, and begin building a business that breathes. No one that no one can break you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.